Hello. Hello. Yes, it is I, the man, the myth, the legend. Hello. I still have the glasses on. It just looks better without the weird tracky eyes, right? No, I decided the glasses are not bad. These are my riding glasses. They fit way better without the without the eye tracking at the moment because of the funky eye tracking when I look down. So yeah, these are my working glasses. How could you tell? Anyway, hello everybody. Hello. Let's see if we can do this properly. So anyways, it's a bit too much. So like this. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. Hello. Now we can officially start. So we are doing a little bit more writing today. That's my main thing. But for this, I need to disable this, make a new browser, put the music there because the music and the stream data should not be on the working screen. It's just distracting, guys. Also, we need to get rid of Star Fox. What do we do? Let's say N64 playlist. I want to do an N64 playlist. Hope it's good. Yep. Of course we have Die Dogs. Okay, this was a bit unexpected, to be honest. Yeah, this is not working for me. I cannot concentrate during Die Dogs. I don't know why. It's like one of those songs that does not work for me. It sounds good, but it's not like, oh yeah, it's super awesome. What do we take? What do we do? Let's do that lo-fi bullshit everyone likes. Not the biggest fan of it, to be honest, but yeah. Maybe this works a little better. And now we open up the page again. And now the song's over. And now rain. I need to see if we are too loud. So I need to wait for the actual beat drop. Because lo-fi is like always like this, and then it's like slow, and then it does like the loud sound now. 3, 2, 1. Well, now it's just throwing the groaning of the damned at me. Bro, this is very like ominous sound-wise. Let's do like this. Okay. Welcome back. So today we are doing a little bit more Ancestries. So I've done like a little bit the last few streams, but now we're like totally focusing on that again. I think we should do like a few Ancestries. I call them species. I don't know if we rename them ancestries, but yeah. As you can see, here are like a few. There were like 3 added: Leshies, Ratfolk, and Strix. I want to focus today on these. I've written like a little bit about everything, and I'm like open to suggestions and to like ideas again. And also we need to like write further gnomes, halflings, goblins, right? So, Strix. I have ordered the Strix a little bit. I want to get to those first because those are actually very important to the setting, and we just glazed over them. Same with like also like the expanded story of the orcs. No, the orcs we have done like a lot, but yeah. Did we do the Colo? No, the Colo needed a little bit of love as well. I think the elves are nearly like perfect how they are. Automatons need a little bit of love. I don't know if humans need more love. I think humans are good the way they are. They just need to like a little bit of elaboration, right? Like everyone needs like a little bit more, and then like we're good. I think if we have like 1 to 2 pages of text, plus like an idea how they look, that would be great. So anyway, let's start with the Strix. So I thought about the Strix, that they were like mistaken in the past for harpies. And instead of like living in well, nests and eating humans, they lived in the mountains. And also in like the primordial skylands that existed like far and few between. So basically, how I imagine it, like the dwarves did not like think about like, oh, let's make our cities fly. They need to get their idea from somewhere, and there were like a few Ezikoan islands that were like floating, where the Strix are coming from, basically. Not big islands, not something big, like for like a small village or settlement, right? Just like at a spot to like live on, and then like go to the surface area. And then like during the Aether Flood and the Darkened Age, the Strix were rather active. So what I think is that they because the Strix call themselves Itari. Should put that in there. At least in Pathfinder. I made up a word that is like very similar to Okati, which I think should be the grounded ones. So they were like, of course, like chilling on their mountains and like trying to drive off the other folk of the setting, just to like not like to like basically keep their own people safe, and also to like as like a little bit of payment, because like they were slaughtered for like just existing, right? And then basically after like hundreds of years, you had like a generational shift, because they saw people die, and there were like people who were empathetic to that. And then when the Orc dynasties like died down more, they like were like basically going into like a progressive change, which the Strix allowed for some parts. But the Strix themselves, I feel like, emphasize with the humans a lot. Like that's like, I think, a very big thing, where they're like, oh yeah, humans are okay. First of all, they look very similar. They look very, very similar. Let's make it like this. Second tab. Like if you pick this Strix over here, Right, if we pick her, she looks like, they look very human-like, right? They have like the sharp ears and the feathers instead of like true hair. But like, they are very, very human-like in appearance. So I would say that they, like, out of empathy with like their bad like history, with their bad blood with the orcs, they basically were like, oh yeah, let's take the humans in and keep them safe from the orcs, because at the moment we have like the superiority here, and the humans did nothing wrong to them, so they have like a very good like alliance, right? And then like they let the humans build among them and build a strong friendship, and this caused like a more fundamentalist like group of Strix in retaliation to attack the Flying Islands with the villages that allowed humans to keep their lands pure and free of the Okati, right? And so the island was basically through magic grounded into like, I would say, I think nearby, like close to Haven, where like the dwarves all of a sudden had like this flying island, and they could backwards engineer the aether flow there. Like they backwards engineered all of that stuff that the Strix's forebearers basically like created to make these islands flow, be it magic or stuff like that. And they used that magic to start the Metropolis project, which created Haven and Garden, and I forgot the third one. Shit. But yeah. And then after that, the fundamentalists and the progressives fought a civil war. Basically, the progressive faction was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And the fundamentalists were like, yeah, you started this. So they fought over like, not over this, but also whose fault it really was that the dwarves got the tech, right? And thus the idea to like start like creating flying islands, which was like basically their holy lands, right? The Strix's holy lands. And then it's last but not least, like they had a truce, and they decided to not make like one united Strix kingdom or nation or whatever, but live in isolation from one another, basically in clans, right? And then many of the remaining Strix unsuccessfully tried to form governments, and some who wanted to live outside of small communities moved to the metropolis. So basically, what I want to think is that like the young people migrate away from these like failing village societies. And then you have like two camps with this, right? The Okati are trying to lure Strix away and destroy their society / conquer the land through integration, right? So that like that there's like one camp that's like, oh, the Okati, dude, they are fucking with us, right? They're trying to destroy us by taking our children and integrate them into their society, so they get our lands once we need to, we are forced out, right? And then there's like the ones that say, okay, there's like this mindset of our ways were wrong and our children will learn from the Okati, like they learned from us, right? These are like the two mindsets, basically, like the two philosophies behind this. And what I think with the Strix, we should like definitely add, like we have like a very basic story here, right? Of like, oh yeah, people get killed, they get into a position of power, now they kill back, and there's like some empathetic people, and then they are destroying themselves, right? So basically a back and forth, and then like self-destruct. What I also want to include is very important. We're doing it in red. Strix are very amicable to humans and vice versa. While they have a deep-seated, deep-rooted is better. Deep-rooted hatred for dwarves. Like, it should be like very universal that the Strix should hate the dwarves very much, and like the humans, right? Because the humans are like, again, like in a very similar boat. They're like stranded on this planet. They don't know how to get off. There's just a few of them, you know. They're like very thankful and productive. Try to be, most of them. But like this is like, I think, very important that they do not like the dwarves for stealing the tech. That's at least what I want to do with the Strix. I also want to include that many of them many of them become basically sky pirates, right? I don't know how much a metropolis has, like, in terms of defense to defend against, like, Strix, so I'm not, like, including, like, oh, yeah, they're regularly attacking, even though they're, like, very fractured, they're, like, regularly attacking the metropolis, say, Haven. I don't believe that would be the case. They're not that dumb. But that's like mainly the Strix. I don't know how much more I want to write about them. I think, yeah, there's like one more thing as well. I should take note of very religious towards their. I think they're like very like attached to the patron deity, but we can change that later if I don't think about that. Like in terms of like, oh, if I don't like that. The Leshies, however, so to show what a Leshie is, many people don't know what a Leshie is. So I'm showing you a Leshie. We keep the normal pictures of the Leshies. Can I get this picture, please? This is one of them. Oh, what else is there that looks good? Copy image. Paste. Here comes another one. These are leshies. So they're basically like what they are in the original lore. Let me explain quickly. What they are in the original lore is they are plant people that are basically they're plant people that are basically like summoned by druids and the like, and that have gained consciousness over time. So that's what a Leshy is. So basically, look at this plant guy, and he is a conscious thing now. Usually one of the smaller races. I want to say that these get like a little bit of an overhaul because I like them, that they're like cutesy. In some regards, they're small. But I want to make them a little bit more eldritch, right? I think they need to have like a little bit of like a twist, because like the entire thing is like, yo, we have this like society of these like you have like these societies of these like beautiful like artistic people and this like wonderful tech and high tech stuff and very, very, very cool stuff, but like our planet's history is fucked up. I think that's like the nice front, and then like basically like what we get out of this is like everyone has like shit on their heels, right? Like nearly everyone. Howdy, Bobby Cuss. So I think what we are doing with the Leshies, at least, to make them a little bit more in line with the entire setting, because at the moment they feel very out of line. Like the standard stuff of Leshies is just, yo, they're druidic spirits, they got revived, they're cutesy plants now, they do stuff. What I wanted to do was that they got hypercharged with Aether. I think that's like the wisest thing. And then like we have basically them as like the main surface stratas together with the Colo. I think they are just like chilling down there because they are they are basically powered by radiation, right? I want them to be like, oh, we are absorbing the radiation, while others mutate and die from it. I think they are like a little bit different, where they are they don't like too much radiation, but they thrive in like basically places where people would slowly die from radiation poisoning. And then like what they want to do is, I think that's like the main thing I want to keep, that they see the Aether as like life and knowledge, because they gain basically knowledge from the souls of the Aether, right? Because like they're like what I feel like is that the Aether, as like the pure essence of magic in this setting, is basically, just in general, is like basically like magic power, like the gods' essence radiating into the real world. And the gods take basically power from souls. So I can see that during the Aether Flood, when like so many people died, then it got like the knowledge got recycled and put into the Aether, which animated first of all the Leshies and gave them the knowledge they have. So it makes sense why they have, for example, the ability scores they have, because they're like they're basically a phylactery, right? in plant form. I think that is what I want to get to. I think we keep that. I cannot write phylactery and plant form, right? Which is why they need to have Aether, because otherwise they would die slowly, they would wither. And which is why they are not many in the cities, is because the Aether radiation there is like very, very weak. Like if they would get something radiated next to them, they could survive off that, I think. I think that's the form of eating. For example, if you have like an Aether cell where like, and you would open it up, the leshy would bloom. And I think they repopulate basically by planting suitable vessels near druidic places of worship. So basically what they're doing is they plant seeds near, like, for example, an old druid grove that was ravaged by Aether, and that basically superpowers the seed to make a new leshy. Which brings us to the next point. They and I think that's something I still want to keep. Is like that everyone has like someone they really hate and someone they really like. Not like a big group of people. I think like everyone hates the orcs because the orcs were pricks. But basically like that we get the leshies being like, oh yeah, the Kolo are kind of cool. They're like trying to fix Eziko, which is great because they fix nature, but also like being wary of them because, well, their goal by fixing it is finally get all of that like Aether flood Aether and put it in the back in the planet's core, right? So that would mean like the death of all the leshies. So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we can fix the world over like millennia, but the leshies would just flat out die. Let's keep it like that. Oh my god. Writing today is hard. Yeah, but I don't have more to leshies. Leshies are very, very weird, but I think they fit the setting somewhat. Otherwise, I would just kill them off as well. And then we have the rat folk. Oh boy, my rats. So we know one or two things. First of all, they come from Kaiko, because that's where the gnomes, halflings, and goblins got them. Yeah, where is it? No, it was on Kaiko, right? I need to get my where is it? Places, Mirabel, Kaiko Island there. Where was that the rats are from? There. May no inhabited wildlife, no civilization found except a few Isoki. And some Isoki were abducted. So basically they were abducted and got like experimented on and stuff like that. So what I want to do with the rat folk is have them be a bit like not that they're not assholes. I don't want to have Warhammer rats, right? I don't want to have Skaven. That's because like many people who see rat folk say always like, oh yeah, Skaven, right? I don't want to have like one-to-one Skaven. I think Skaven fit Warhammer, but not the setting. So what I want to have What I actually want to have is that they are like escaped prisoners, and that they basically, how do I put it? They're basically like getting associated with, like, of course, like plagues and stuff like that. So basically what like we had, where like reds are like considered very, very unclean and unhealthy, which yeah, that is like one thing. They have the same problem. They get associated with rats because they're like rat people, the Isoki. We should call them Isoki, by the way. And then what they have is they don't like the elves, because the elves have the interest in like reviving halflings, gnomes, and goblins. So they don't like that. And what I gave them is like somewhat of the Warhammer treatment, where they are like very apt at like building shit. I feel like what I want to do is give them basically the ability to be like very, very, very easily like impressed by, and also very apt to interacting with technology. So give them a gun and they can assemble it and reassemble it and fuck, my god, my brain today is mush. I'm sorry. I'm stammering too much. Give me 1 second, I need to drink something. Okay, disassemble and reassemble something very quick. They understand how the tech works, but they are not like necessarily not necessarily like the brains behind the operation. They just like have very good muscle memory and can learn very easy tasks very, very quick, and are like have like a quick wit, so they can improvise very good. So basically they're the guys you want in your job to optimize like workflow, right? That's how I imagine them to be. So for example, they're the guys who when you have like gangs in the city, who are like the guys who do the gangbang the fastest, right? The best, the most efficient after a while, because they're like, oh yeah, I know how to do it. But also like the guy who's like sitting at like on a production line, who's like needs to do the same thing over and over again. They get like basically get it done very, very quick, right? That's how I imagine the red folks to work. So basically, in society, they're very well. Give me 1 second. Usually prevents to accolades. So what I think is like that they're like, for like every like in like every work life, you're like, oh yeah, the red guy, that's the guy you want, right? This is like the guy who does your shit. He's like the guy in the job who gets shit done but does not talk much about doesn't talk much about it. And then you have like the basically you have like the stigma in society where it's like, oh yeah, rats, dude, they're so unclean, they're like so disgusting, let's not keep them around, right? Because they're like, oh, these are like the pest things, right? They're no good, they make people sick, right? Even though they're like totally different. It's like basically calling humans monkeys or apes, right? It's like, oh yeah, it's the apes. They throw poop and grunt at each other, which sometimes we do for better and for worse, and for some people do it as like a pleasurable act, but let's not get too deep into that. But like the majority does not do that. So it's like saying this is like always want to emphasize this so much. Just because these fantasy races or species or whatever you want to call them are looking like something, they are not. It is what I want to get to. Like, they're like very weirdly societal like stuff, but they're not like, oh, this is the guy who looks like a bird, so he needs to eat like corn and does cacao sounds, right? They're like still like serious people and like serious businesses and serious life situations, right? They're like still living beings. They just evolved like that, is what I want to say, which is why I want to have so many like mammalistic mammalian races that are like a little bit different. Again, the orcs are boars because I said, okay, they fit that theme very well with like tusks and stuff like that, and they have also like very good feats that reflect this, which I would also give like a boar man, right? So yeah, I want to keep that. But anyways, many red folk join the underground lifestyle because of societal pressure. So basically they feel pressured by society to like be a wretch, and so they become one, right? Yeah, that is also something I wanna go back into, because I have this like basically these two here in the middle with like Kaiko. I wanted to post Aether Flood quickly, so I have done this because I want to go into that, because they like liking boats. I want to have like a little bit of Hawaiian thematics on them, where they're like, oh, they think of like acknowledging like natural places as like gods or inhabited by a god, right? I think that is like a very interesting take on red folks. Let's get the let's put a dab in the middle here. Which is also something I wanted to add with the boats, especially because with the adaptability, being like able to learn how to like do stuff fast and like structure tasks and activities very, very fast. I think them like assembling like a sail and doing like fishing stuff is like one of the things why they evolved that way, right? They need to like get their like fishing done properly. They need to like make makeshift houses after a storm. They like makeshift shelters. I think that's why they are so good at it. how to rephrase that before there. Society fell. Red folk were big into sailing and fishing. Rowing is very important because they remember that they lived in the Mirror Belt, which before the Aether Flood, or like before Aether Tech became more prominent. Well, not before the Aether Flood, shortly before the Aether Flood. Were not charted because the seas were like still. There's like barely any wind there. So they need to like, yeah, they have a little bit of sailing, but rowing and fishing is more their style, right? Where they're like, oh yeah, they have rowboats. I will put sailing away because sailing is like not right, which like kills the point of me saying, oh yeah, they can assemble a sail very quickly. Let's take ships, rowing, and fishing, right? Okay, they originated from Kaiko Island, and so there's an Holy Land. I think that is very important that they have like this distinction here where they're saying, oh yeah, this island that started the apocalypse, very cool, that was ours. And then we have this one. Nowadays they are heavily gravitating towards the unity being there. We do it like this, so they are like definitely thinking like, oh yeah, unity, that's the one I believe in too, right? Where they're like praying to like the elements. I think that's their thing. I think we should put the Red King in there. I think the Red King is right there, like very well. Where we can say like, oh yeah, they're like very squalid, and if they're like too poor, at least there's like the stigma of them becoming like Red Kings, right? I am very happy, by the way, that a real Red King is like, thankfully, like, I don't know if they're like actually like existing, but I don't think so, right? There's no way that there's like rats tangling up their tails like this on purpose and become like a weird thing. But yeah, it's like a tail, right? I hope, because that is kind of creepy. Anyway, but yeah, that's like at the moment the Isoki. So I'm not like going too much into this before we have the gnomes, the goblins, and the halflings down. We're at the moment, because at the moment we have like the Leshies. Again, I want to have the Leshies be a bit like phylacteries. And then we have the Strix, who are like definitely like a bit vengeful. Vengeful sky hunters. At least to the dwarves. They fucking hate the dwarves. Let's go back to our friends here. Last time we wrote text, we said that the halflings were like very like technologically advanced in terms of like basically they were like very good at like arms, military stuff, right? So if they have like military tactics and stuff like that, and most people got like the new stuff from basically the halflings. One was the general level of tech before the Aether Flood. I think the general level of tech before the Aether Flood was basically going into like Renaissance, I would say, at the latest. I think like some people had like firearms with like gunpowder, but like the minority had that. And then like when they tried to research the Aether a bit deeper and got the Aether tech, that's when everything spiraled, right? So at the moment, like we only know that before the Aether Flood. Timeline. Let's keep timeline. Then we had like they before that did not have all of this, and only after like only with Project Aether, like Aether Tech happened. So I would say they had like sailing stuff, like boat wise they had sailing, but they were like very late Middle Ages, I think. I think so, right? I can see the halflings having like World War I tech. Bastards. So like there is yeah. Which would also explain why they why the halflings when people like reinterpret Jesus Christ, I cannot talk today. Reinterpreted. Finally. The modern firearms, basically modern firearms rediscovered, thank you. Rediscovered is better. Well, no, reinterpreted is better because they found the they found the halfling blueprints, but they made them work for the tech they had. So basically, what I feel like the setting is right now is they have modified firearms, right? So, for example, your flintlock is just charged instead of like gunpowder with Aether, right? But it's still a flintlock. I think that's how it should work. We need to do like a little bit of like, of course, the writing of how this works. But since Aether is basically like spell power in a bottle, right? I could see them like the Aether just like basically through how the trigger and stuff like that works, basically igniting a pseudo spell, nothing that is like actually a spell, but like a very quick burst of energy that shoots the bullet forward, right? With like the hammer of the trigger like hitting, and then like the explosion, instead of being like, oh yeah, the gunpowder is ignited through the spark, it's not the gunpowder, but the aether that gets ignited, right? But yeah, where is the tech thing? Let's do like this. Advanced and take that was similar to World War One. I'm just like writing this in here. We need to rephrase this once we put this like all into like proper sentences, right? After that is okay. I don't know if we should go too deep into the halflings still, because I think the halflings work better when they are mysterious as like a plot device, right? In terms of like, oh yeah, the halflings exist. They existed. They did their thing, and now they're gone, and they had like very good tech. The gnomes and goblins have their shaman being suppressed by the orcs. Do I want to go into the gnomes and goblins more? I actually think if I want to go into these guys more, or if it's still nearly enough. If I say, for example, I can go into like a few details. Goblins. Make them green because they're goblins, even though they are not green necessarily. What is a very good like animal that fits goblins? Or do we keep them like classic goblins? Green ears, perky nose, like very long nose. The goblins should be sharks. I like them as fish. I like the goblins being fish. That is also something we need to clarify a little bit. Yeah, that is also true. Let's make the gnomes orange for the sake of this. Any other margin? I think, I don't know why, but I think I want gnomes to be like gerbils a little bit. Is there like a gerbil folk in Pathfinder? I don't think so, right? That is the question, if they were cousins or not. If we keep the if we keep it like a bit like World of Warcraft, where they're like, did we say that? I know that the dwarves and the halflings were related, but the dwarves and the gnomes, or were they cousins? I remember something like that. Give me 1 second. Wait a second. No, not here. Lore timeline, right? Elves with war, vampiric, blah blah. Orc dynasties get rebelled against. We have that. Nodes become Colo. Project Aether started by gnomes and goblins. Project Autumn Flower becomes the hand. The hand destroys Kaiko. Aether Flood happens. Nope. Aether Flood itself. No. It was definitely not on Aether. Heritage War, maybe? I don't think they're cousins, no. I think that's all the lore we have on the gnomes and goblins, right? Species. Because we have only the patent cheese, but we have not written anything other than like this. The dwarfs, again, I'm looking at the dwarfs quickly. Create Metropolis, Heritage War, dwarfs. I don't know why I wrote dwarfs there. Like this, but yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about like the. Okay, wait, let's do it like this. There is no there's no gerbil folk in Pathfinder 2E, right? Yeah, most people do this. So yeah, we can make them distant related to the Isoki. Gnomes are gerbil-like creatures who lived the I don't know how we work the gnome stuff in, where they are like I like the idea still that why the goblins and gnomes work together. We're like, okay, the goblins are just like vicious and the gnomes like hate the orcs as well. Like the main reason, right? Like they just wanted to like this is like the main reason, right? They just want to like hinder new orc dynasties to rise, right? They were like preventive, like, okay, let's wipe them out so they cannot rise again. But I think the goblins have like the motive of like, okay, these are like, let's get revenge. Where the gnomes just like, I think they find joy in everything. They found like joy in like basically everything because of the maybe even like very, very short lifespan. I'm not 100% sure how we motivate the gnomes, because I like the idea of the Pathfinder gnomes having like this like gray thing where they need to have new stuff, otherwise they die. I think we can keep that. Now we need to have like the motivation of both of them, right? I think the goblins were just vengeful. I think vengeance and superiority were like the main motivators for them. I think the goblins should be like very like this. We could turn it around and do the gnomes are like the vengeful ones, but I don't think I want to like subvert every single thing in the setting, because if you subvert everything, then it turns into like, oh yeah, everything is subverted, so everything is just the opposite, right? Like, not subverting, like, I'm not talking about like, oh no, they cannot have that motivation. I'm talking about like, oh, the obvious shark guys are the guys that are the, haha, we are doing this for the fun of the game, and the gerbil looking fucks, they are the vengeful ones, like, right? Because we have that like in so many aspects already, I don't want to like overdo it. Where it's like, oh yeah, it's always the opposite of what you expect. Some things are just like simple, right? We could also say, okay, the gnomes would also do it like with like this motivation to mess with Aether lines. Let's do it like this to mess with Aether in general, right? We can say vengeance is still a goal. But they like innovation, right? So basically, you have like the goblins who are like, oh yeah, we want to have this because we want to have control. We want to gain control over like other people, because if you have like a nuke and nobody else has, did the goblins smell the proverbial blood in the water and saw the opportunity to finish the orcs? Yeah, I think that's like the thing, right? I'm thinking that as well, because gnomes were along for the ride because it seemed novel. Yeah. Vengeance. They saw the orcs at their weakest. I would quote you on that. They did smell. Yeah. The smell of the blood in the water. And wanted to lash out. And then the gnomes are like, brilliantly moronic. I like that they are like brilliantly moronic. I was thinking about that the gnomes are just smart, but they're so dumb while being smart. And then saw it as novel to assist the gnomes while the goblins, right? The goblins while. Yeah, let's make them lemmings. I cannot write the word lemmings. Lemming-like creatures. So there's no to assist the goblins too. Let's keep it like this, right? I think that is like more than enough reason for this. And then we do like a very big disclaimer down here. I will write this in like a very big letters because otherwise I forget. Just for later like how do we say it? For later, just like remembering. Should remind us. I don't know why it does not show me the options for text. Hey. Hello. I cannot. Oh no. Can I increase the text size, please? I don't know why my menu is gone. These are the reasons why nobody wants these fools back except the elves who feel somewhat guilty. Now I can do this. Okay. How about can I increase text size? Let's make it red. Make it bold. And make it big. Just so I remember, because this is like very, very important. Nobody wants these clowns back. They're all horrible. I quote your I will quote you on this. I think that's more than enough on the gnomes at the moment, right? We don't need to go like too deep into that at the moment. Because I think we have more than enough information. They're just like all three are pricks. They work together. They want to kill the orcs. And then they fucked up and died. Now we can do some other stuff. Because we have 1, 2, 3. That is something I was considering, but ditched. Which of the projects? Do you think they assisted the project that, like, basically the Manhattan Project, so the hand, so they destroyed the world? Or do you think they actually assisted back in the day in, like, Project Aether, which led to, like, the bombs and stuff like that? Do you think they 3D chessed and were really bad at it? They were like 4D chess and were really bad at it. Solitary is better. Solitary. Scientists helped. Remainder of the Orc Empire, right? So basically, what I feel like is that there was like, I have a feeling that they unofficially actually said, okay, yeah, they were absolutely not backed by their governments and were not connected in any way. I like the idea that the isolationist bastards were so fucking afraid of the downtrodden orc empires, right? They were like on the way to like being like on the way out. They were like, fuck these guys. Come on, let's give these like idiot shark people and the lemmings that like fall off the underground cliffs in the Underdark. Let's give these like idiots a little bit of like a push. It reminds me a little bit of the I don't know, have you ever played Mass Effect? Just like asking. Or do you know the general lore? Okay. It reminds me a bit of the Solarians just giving the Krogans like weaponry while they're like in their like basically like Middle Ages, or like even before that, like the Bronze Age, giving them like guns, tanks, and nukes, and then they said, okay, beat those assholes there beat the Ragnar for us, and then the Krogans nuke themselves. I feel like this is very similar to this, where like the halflings were like, yeah, we're so isolationist. Let's fucking let them all kill each other, and then we don't have to bother with these idiots, right? Just let them work on their Manhattan Project. Everyone needs a Manhattan Project. Everyone needs to like get a nuke ready, and just throw the bombs and let us take over, right? And they did not think that these fucks that were like giving tech they should not have, so stupid to like mistrust the orcs, because of course the rebellious orcs were like, guys, this is fucking stupid, don't do this, read the ley lines please, it's stupid to do that on Kaiko. And they were like, no, you're an orc, we don't care what you say, we're doing our own shit, we don't adhere to your laws, orc, right? And then they nuke Kaiko and blow every one of these idiots to smithereens. I think that is like a poetic justice in a very fun way. I think that is very, very funny in like a poetic way, not in like a comedy way. There's like people like they genocided three like entire civilizations on accident, but then they gave them tech and were like, yeah, you can do this. work fast, do our dirty work. And then they go like Team Rocket, go up like in like a giant boom. It's great. I like that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're nearly 1/5 through all of the current ancestries in P2E. We're 50. We're at least 1/5 through. Should we add another? We have like a lot that we can add still and work around still. We have like still a lot. We have done. Let's quickly zoom through them and pick one out that we want to like have in the setting, or like filter out those we don't want to have if we want to have them. We have dwarves, we have elves, we have gnomes, we have goblins, halflings, humans, leshy, orcs. What were Athamaru? They're like fish humanoids, right? You plan to have all ancestries present? I'm not 100% sure. Because right now we're just doing rewrites, right? Only lore rewrites. So we're not doing anything gameplay related except for maybe like religions. I don't want to touch everything at the moment. But it would be cool if we have at least some resemblance of everything being able. Because much can like be refitted to fit. But there's like some that so for example the fetchling, right? I think fetchlings will not be present as a playable thing. Because we don't have a shadow plane, right? Or like what I would have in the setting, but not as a playable thing, would be a flesh warp, right? Because, spoiler, this is like mutating, right? Mutating through Aether. But I'm not 100% sure. Not everything fits, right? This is like at the moment the question. I was thinking about that the same when I texted you yesterday. Because I was like thinking, okay, who's like biomancy, right? Who's like doing like biomancy on like a big scale? Who's like doing like some other themes, right? Because biomancy would be the flesh warps, right? But I don't think a flesh warp itself should be a playable thing, because those are like basically mutants, right? This is like they're like, oh yeah, like this androids. I don't think we do androids, but I'm not 100% sure. I mean, yeah, they're very toxic Avenger coded. True that. Like, for example, like with the androids, right? I can see them refitted instead of like, oh, they're like from another world, right? And they're like more like cyborgs, right? Where people integrated Aether tech into their like body. But I'm not 100% sure. Exactly, that is like the thing. So like, for example, we can do like an Excel sheet on the Notion. 1 second. We do extinct and we do no, we make a list, right? Eliminated from the setting. So, I think if I would eliminate one, right, I would definitely take Android as like the eliminated one, because they don't fit at all. I mean, because again, we have like automatons, basically being the androids. Oh my god. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. Okay. This. Oh god, you don't see the... Oh, sorry. So like this. Now you can see everything. So we have those. We have the Athamarus, right? Which are just like amphibious humanoids. Exactly. And some of those common ones are uncommon, right? Which is like something we need to like also address. Like some of them are just very uncommon. Humans are like not common. Like no way. I hope that next campaign we play, if we play this setting, which I hope, we do not have like 4 humans, dude. So, for example, is a fetchling wasn't Zulf a human? I think he was like a scrawny human, I think. I don't remember him being an elf. But yeah, right. Anyway, so I just want to like go through some that we just definitely eliminate. Fetchlings, in hindsight, I thought right before I would eliminate them, but aren't fetchlings just like people who dabbled or like who were influenced by basically going through limbo, or like the people who are like have like a great attachment to this, like basically like human plus? Exactly. As a kitty, I don't know. I don't need like 15 species of like gradients of humans being fish. I have to say this. It's like a bit like hard that you have like so many like fish ancestries. Because the Azakedi are fish humanoids, the Athamaru are fish humanoids, the merfolk are fish humanoids to different degrees, right? The Nagashi are snake humanoids, but yeah. But yeah, I think we keep the it's like this. You see my site now. Oh no. At the moment you see only these anyways. Yeah, there's like so many, right? I think the Azaketi, I only picked the Azaketi for your Isia Scorn, because it fit with like them being a slave race to the Agolthu. Like that's the only reason I picked them over the others. It just fit. I don't know who wants to play an naval campaign in Aetherpunk. I just would have to have the option, right? Exactly. That's like the thing. Let's put the at the moment. I would not say eliminate for the setting. From the setting, I would do a second tier. eliminated for now. Let's make it like this, because I feel like we don't want them, right? We don't want to like deal with them right now, but I think they should somewhat exist, because I think at least one of them should exist. Because the problem at the moment is we have this like giant aether flood. How does it affect the ocean? What happens to everything under the water, right? And how fucked up are these people? That's like what I want to know, right? Like, that's why it's like somewhat interesting, but it's like not for now, right? So we're kicking out Athamaru for the time being. Azaketi should be out. Let's kick out. Okay. Let's go through the others. Catfolk are in. Catfolk are in. We keep them like this, and we say in. Catfolk. Centaur. You think Centaur pain to place or cut? Is it reason enough to be a pain to play? I know that they blow. But I know only one person of the group who wants to play maybe a Centaur. And he said it would be interesting to play a double gun Centaur, but he plays like a gunman right now, so I don't know if he would do it again. The problem I have with the Centaur is, how do you respec them to not be humans? What is the upper half? Are they half orc, right? I think for me at least, for me personally, I would put them in... You want? Look, I'm in agreement with you that the large player ancestries blow due to rules. I agree with that. I think we should put them in. We should say, okay, they're at the moment eliminated for now are centaurs, right? Because I know in my other campaign someone who is thinking about playing a Minotaur, so I'm just saying I don't want to eliminate them because I think they're cool, like ancestries, but I don't wanna say no, hard no on this. I think they fit very well with like. I could also think that centaurs are just fucked up humans, right? I can see them as well, but like we have humans also like on uncommon to rare duty, so they cannot do too much with humans. That's my thing. Fetchlings. Fetchlings are in. I cannot write for shit, dude. Hobgoblin. Do we put hobgoblins in or put them out? Or do we eliminate, do we eliminate them from the setting? Or do we eliminate them for now? Because I don't want to do hobgoblins right now. We don't want, like, hobgoblins I would be interested in if they were like, oh, elves created them, but then they're like super rare, which is like, yeah. I think hobgoblins would be like, I'm also not saying that we can like use the eliminated from setting things and eliminated from now things as like templates for something else. For example, I could see someone saying, oh yeah, I want to play a gnome playstyle wise. Yeah, me too. Okay, Kolo are in. We have them. Kitsune. Do you want to have the Japanese people? There's a reason I didn't put them on Kaiko, which sounds like a Japanese word. Yeah, I would put them in hybrid form. Exactly. Kobolds. Do we keep kobolds? I want to keep kobolds, actually. I want to keep like 1 or 2 small ancestries. And I like the draconic thing. Yeah, I think so as well. I think the kobolds are in the same boat with the leshies, where they are like, oh yeah, Aether is kind of cool. Let's keep kobolds. Chat was gone for a second, I'm sorry. Let's keep kobolds. I cannot write kobolds. Because like leshies do this at the moment as well. And I like a secondary thing as well that keep like doing this in cities instead of like only lizard folk. I think so too, yeah. I think they're like species and subspecies. I did that on the in my Saturday campaign as well. Nobody played an orc, but orcs and goblins were the same species, and I think setting-wise it worked really well. Okay, merfolk, and you are out like this. We keep one of them, but again we keep one of the or like 2 of the aquatic species. The more fishy-like and the more humanoid-like, and then, like, call it a day, right? Minotaur. I will kick them out as well into this one. Nagaji. Do we keep the Nagaji? We keep the snake people. Like, of course, same thing as like yeah. We're not keeping that lady. I am keeping this guy, however. Snakes instead of lizards, you know? That's the only thing. Let's put them into, like, maybe, but only if monstrous. Let's keep them like this. We have like a lot of monster reworks to do as well. Yeah. You shall not be named. Red folk are in. That is kind of true. I put the Nagashi down there, but keep the suffix. Maybe we find a use case for them where they pop up. Because if we, like... You're absolutely right. Also... I don't know why I did not do that, since she's as... Let's keep them as the same species lore-wise. So what I wanted to say was, I don't need to rewrite. Dude, why did I go uwu mode there? I don't need to rewrite every, or we don't need to rewrite every ancestry, but we can lump some together because, like, for example, yeah, of course you cannot play a halfling, a goblin, or a gnome, but there will be like, you could go and say, oh yeah, your gnome could be X, right? It's like still like a possibility. I don't want them to be there, but like you could say, oh yeah, this like ancestry has a niche that's so nichey that I need for my build, and then like I'm like like you know me as a GM, I you can talk to me, like I'm not very hard with the oh no, it has to be like this. Like reflavoring is always an option. Right, but like for the setting in general, we should like for the lore and stuff like that. This is like definitely like we need to like clarify all of this. Okay, we have the Nagashi, same as lizard folk, right? Okay. Who do we have? We have the Samsaran. Who are the Samsaran? Blue skin people. Zira who reincarnate upon death and record pieces of their lives. Out, dude. No, I didn't like it when actually like it felt like a bit jarring with the one shot with like Crimson when he played one of those, because it like was very jarring for the setting, I think. Okay, Tanuki. Yeah, me too. Tanuki, Tengu. I don't need too much Asian stuff. I know that, like, that sounds weird. Sorry, I repeat that. In a different way. I rephrase that. I don't need like 3 Japanese-inspired ancestries in a setting that is definitely not Japanese inspired. Right? Tripkey. Oh, they're frogs. Do we keep them as like extinct? We can, right? Like, extinct is always an option, right? We can say they're extinct. They existed, but they're dead. But then we need to write lore. Like a little bit, like a 2-liner or something like that. Why they're not there, right? Really? 1,000? The question is, do we want to keep frogs? Do frogs add something to the setting? We put the Tripkey here. I love that that like unity thing is like the 3 fuckers. I love that we have like decided that these are like the 3 fuckers. God. eradicated by the GGH after they uplifted the Isoki. Okay, what is the Vanara again? I like. Oh my god! let's keep that at the like as a small comment. So, do we keep the Vanara? Do we keep Sun Wukong? I mean, we can reflavor them from like another like the Wayang. What are Wayang again? What is this? The fuck is this? This looks like a Zelda enemy. What the shit? I've never seen these. Okay, we kick Vayang out. I'm not 100% sold on the... I am not 100% outing the Vanara. I think... The problem with the Vanara is, so you have to think that, like, if we go with, like, Ezico, right? Where is it? Quickly going to, like, places. Let's go to Ezico in general. Right, put this up. We need to, like, go to Mia Racina and basically put like people in there, not necessarily like people who are like still have hate, and like all these areas need to be like populated a bit, and I feel like they would like actually like be a nice rare ancestry as like people who live in tropical areas, right? I keep the Vanara for the time being in, but I'm not 100% married to the concept, but like let's keep the Vanara at least. Exactly. Like I think that as well, that you put like some sticks and Vanara in there. So I want to keep them because we need to have like a little bit of like, okay, some of them need to like have lived there and be a bit represented, and also survive the Aether Flood. So now we have Anadi. Do we keep the spiders with the scarf? That is like the jumping spiders, like whoa. I don't know. I actually do not know why we wanted to keep the Nadi. Because they're like humanoids and they have a spider form, right? Does the spider form, can they even cast spells on that? Can they like... Okay, the human form is okay. No. Here. However, in your spider shape, you can't use weapons, shields, or other handheld items of any sort, and you are limited to what actions you can take with the manipulate trait. The only manipulate actions you can take are cast a spell with somatic components, weave silk or webbing. And I don't want to keep the human form. The only thing that I would like, I would do it like this. And I will put another thing there. I think Anadi would only fit if we have like, oh yeah, they survived somehow the Aether Flood underground and live there like as like basically giant like civilizations of spiders. But I don't think that works because we need to rewrite the Nadi so they're not human. Flat out. So yeah, not likely. Android we kicked out. Automaton we have. Awakened animal. This makes me weirded out. I don't know. I think awakened animal fits with Aether. Yeah, exactly. We keep them. You're in. Dude, I feel like the meme. I don't like them terribly as well. But they fit very well, the setting. I don't like Leshies as well, but I kept them in. I did not eliminate them. You know what I feel like? Yeah. That is true. Oops, all furry. Please don't call our setting Oops, all furry. What do I want to Bro, am I stupid? Give me 1 second. Thank you. Bouncer meme. This one, right? With like, name me this and I either let you in or out. I feel like this right now. Persuadable bouncer meme, that's the one. Where you have like levels and then you have like, some can get in and some cannot. I think that's what we are doing right now. Konrazu. We keep them. I keep Konrazu. I thought about Konrazu a lot and I think we keep Konrazu. Which is weird, we keep a lot of rare stuff. Dragonet. Oh god. Yeah, they're full of Aether. Yeah, I think they're like the natural part to like the android, right? Dragonet. I think. Yeah, exactly. I think them as I think of that like as well. Like they're like a mix of like because of like Leshy and like automatons, right? Like a mix of those two. Do we keep Dragonets? I do not know. Exactly. And if we want to play Dragonet, play a fucking Cobalt lore-wise, right? Also, Dragonets fill that like niche of like I wanna be like a cute little thing, and I think this setting has that to some degree. But like I don't want to have like I don't know My Little Pony ass dragons flying around, right? I don't know. Like, I couldn't say if like one player wants to play a Dragon Knight, I would say, okay, you're a mutated kobold, have fun. Flesh warp. They're the Biomancer faction, right? Are the flesh warps? Exactly. Because I'm like thinking, okay, they should be mutated. Like, I see the goblins and gnomes that died in the Aether Flood. Everyone who died in the Aether Flood, whose body is like not consumed, but only radiated, become a flesh warp, right? So we should not have characters, I think. Or do we say that there are a few very rare Oh, that's why you sent him. The other thing that I was like thinking about is, do we keep them in, make them rare, and say, okay, there's like a few that like purposefully get radiated and flesh warp that way, and our Biomancer faction? Do we do that? And the flesh warp, there's like another stage to flesh warp that is like absolutely lost. Exactly. Are these like mutation cultists? Like, we don't need to make flesh warp be the mutated people. We can say, okay, they're mutation cultists, and the truly mutated people who lose like consciousness and are like basically like mutating hulks are like a level worse than flesh warp. So it's like pre-dead mutation. I think that is better. Yeah. Rarities we are talking about some other time. Goran. What is a Goran? Intellect plant people created by long dead druid. Exactly, I see the same. I see the exact same. Next one is Goloma. What was a Goloma again? I don't know as well. They are they're like one of those bizarre things that you would see our resident old man play, you know? That's like the main thing. I need to rearrange the web browser. Give me 1 second. So we can like read the Goloma lore here. They're just capable of being dangerous and intelligent creature. I'm gonna... They're just capable of being dangerous and, as any intelligent creature. Golarian Golomas have a deep-rooted psychological understanding that they are prey and that all two-eyed people are predators. As a result, Golomas rarely reveal themselves to others. When they do, they often adopt threatening personas. Bro. What the hell is this? I want to understand this. Golomas are humanoids with rough skin that ranges in color from warm brown to ebony. Bro, why are these bionicles? Why do these look like Lego products? Okay. Let's do like this. Golomas, congratulations. You are maybe in. Surgeons after the 3 fuckers got wiped out. I like that. I like that these are like the 3 fuckers are like the 3 musketeers. they're just like worst Captain Planet. Stupidity, viciousness, and angst. Together we make Captain Self-Destruct. Okay. And being a dick. Okay, Jotunborn. Do we keep the Goliaths? I'm torn. Exactly. Nobody wants to feed a Jotunborn after the apocalypse. Bro, what? What is this face? Yeah, he looks like henchman from Don Creek, bro. And the is there like the curse? Do I find the cursed Gohan? Please, have the. Bro, he looks like a in-between frame from like, I don't know. He looks like so dumb. He looks like he's like looking forward to his yogurt. I don't know, man. I don't know. You can make them cool. Wait. Question. What is the What did the artist do? What did the artist do with this poor man's head? Like, look at how small the sun head is. And look at, like, it weirdly ends back here and there's no space for the forehead, for the scalp, for anything. It just ends. Imagine you have like a backstory that starts like this. Jotunborn were forged from the blood of an ancient group called, of giants called the Titans, tasked to watch over the universe. That sounds epic, right? And then you look like this. Yeah, like, dude, they're like, what the hell? How big are they? Another large one. If I would not have the streamer avatar as my Discord photo, as my Discord PFP, I would probably take this face now. It's so dumb. It's like, It reminds me, it's like, dude, it's like the smile from Tekken 1. It's like this. It's like Okay, let's get back to that. Jotunborn, I think, even though I like the idea, we can see. We eliminate Jotunborn for the time being. if we come across giants and how they handle things, and that they needed to create an offspring race to survive, because that's why I'm like so struggling with this, right? Do we have giants? Because they would be like, it would be a bit, we need to talk about that later, but this is like why I'm writing comments on these. Kashirishi, right? What are they? Make their homes in the remote areas of the world. They acquire distinctive crystalline horns. Bro, why does he have an otter as a dog? Yes. I love how vicious you become with these. Okay, Kashirishi are out. I don't like the Kashirishi as like telepathic. If they would not be telepathic, I would have let them in as like desert folk, right? Or like whatever. Puppets! Hey, puppets, by the way, can be like since June 2024. You can be a puppet in Pathfinder Society game. Do we have puppets as the small versions of automatons where like toys become reanimated through Aether? I think so as well. Puppet, you're in. Congratulations. Saranage, what are you? Ox people. You're cows. You're just sentient cows. Sorry, Carabao-headed warriors who live on the mountain and are known for the magical gems in their foreheads that are said to contain their souls. Do we have the sci-fi cows? Do we have the soul cows? He has 3 souls, dude. He's Johnny Dark Souls. I'm meh as well. Again, these would be cool if they were not like, oh, these are, by the way, super magic, right? I would eliminate them for now because I have an idea, but I don't know if it would fit. Also, they have the name Sarangay. Ha 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 ha. Shisk. What is a Shisk? The fuck? Yeah. This is like more actually like how I imagined the orcs, right? I just realized, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Goodbye, Shisk. No, not eliminated for now. Eliminated. You're out! Do we have Shonies? Do we have the dogs? Is the only bipedal dog the pug? Is the word exactly? I either have the Shonies or the awakened animals. And I would eliminate the Shonies rather, because the awakened animals are just easier to use. Again, if someone wants to play a Shoni and just say he's an awakened animal, I'm 100% behind this. Like, again, the class feats of these get not eliminated if like there's like a good kit we could set them into. I just don't want to like say, oh, you cannot play like a large amount of like skill sets you could use, right? Skeleton. I think so, right? Reanimated reanimated zombies. That is also true. Why is there, by the way, an archetype and ancestry for that? Let's skeleton out for the time being. Let's do the skeleton actually into out for now. Because I have not read the archetype, so if the archetype is shit, I would rather keep the normal skeleton. Not that... Yeah, true. You are absolutely right. Sprite. Do we keep Faye? Exactly. That's what free archetype is there for. Do we keep Faye in that regard? Like playable Faye? I cannot... I mean, I got only one session with a tiny Faye, with a tiny like ancestry. Yeah, because like I think like, for example, you have to imagine this, right? These... Exactly, because like the thing is with the sprites, if I just imagine this, right? You have like this very like city setting, right? You have like these like giant buildings as well. You have like you're going back basically like a little bit into like this Victorian style, probably, right? Victorian like building settings, or like very like postmodern or something like that, right? Like something very weird. And then you have like a fucking ferry flying through it. Like I can see like all these like species walking through a city. That's like the main thing. The sprite at the moment not, but as like bugs, I keep them, I think. Strix we have in. Cirky, what is Cirky? Oh, I saw these ones. They're basically like Darkland insectoids, right? Put them in the Bionicle pile for now. You mean, I mean, at the moment, the Bionicles are in the in pile right now, right? Do we say... Yeah, let's put them in the Bionicle pile. Wait a second. Put you there, and then we keep the Cirky, right? Okay. Vishkanias are out. Like instantly. They're just like... They're like literally snake men. Then we have the Yaksha. Yaksha are divine spirits. What the fuck is this? It looks like a fucking barbarian. I don't know. Yeah, they look like hero class looking guys, right? They're like nature gods, right? Also, no, they're like too human-like. Goodbye. Yaksha goes, and then we have Yao Guai. What the hell are you? What is this? Item spirits. Let's do it like this. Look, let's do the Yaksha go into the no. And the Yao Guai, I'm thinking about these. I don't want to have too many, as you say. Exactly, which is like a nice thing. Bro, that would be so weird. Okay, now we have our list right now. These are like the people. Let's try to structure this a little bit. All right, I forgot about this. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So, Ayuvarian is the Androma are in, right? Those are like orc and elf. We just keep. I don't need to write this down, right? Like for these two. Ah, come on. In. Let's do another list down here. Heritage. And we have a clear in and out. I think there's like no maybe, right? Varian. And the Droma. Yeah, let's go from A to Z quickly. It's they're not so long. Aphorite. Once identical beings who bridge the gap between axes of perfect order. What are these? Law Genasi. We don't really have at the moment elemental Genasi. We know that there's an elemental plane where all of them are together. Basically an elemental kingdom. So we would have that, right? Okay, Aphorites are gone for the time being. I think so as well. I need to read up on these actually, but I just like for the sake of the argument, Aphorite are out. What's an Abrande? Oh, Adande. Yeah, they're just like, the fuck is this thing? Okay. This creature, ew. Okay, Ardande is out. Gansi is out. And Duskwalker's out. Changelings, children of malevolent hags born with occult magic. Do we keep them? It's just a chick. I still do not know. This is like one of the things why I keep so many maybes. Okay, we need a maybe. Exactly, that is like the thing. Changeling. Dampier is in. But not for elves, because elves are dead if they get that. Dragon blood. Can you be Dovahkiin? 1 second. Okay. Only scaled races. We don't have enough dragon lore, right? Let's keep them at the moment in. And put him maybe behind this. Because we don't have dragon lore at the moment. Duskwalker. What was Duskwalker? Duskwalker we have killed, right? Did we kill Duskwalker? Yeah. The only thing that I would think about Duskwalkers would be humans, because they would make sense, but yeah, let's kick them out. Ganzi were the chaos. We kicked Ganzi out. Hunger Seed. Only called half Oni. Exactly, yeah. What is this shit? I know it's like actually Japanese Oni, but like for everyone who likes that, congratulations. It's just not my cup of tea. It's another half giant ancestry. Yeah. I think we put them there. Ifrits we're getting to the Genasi, right? So the Ifrits are staying in because we have elemental planes. We have one elemental plane, right? Or do we kick them out? Nah, let's keep the Ifrit in. Not out. Oh, yeah. So we kick out the Ifrit. The Nephil. Oh my god, this is. Ifrit, Orid, Sylph, Talos. Yeah, okay. Ifrit, Orid, Sylph, and Talos. Okay. And now we have Nephilim. It's very worth a discussion because that's like a very big discussion we should have. I am quickly going to grab something to drink. BRB.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Okay, I'm back. I'm coming back at least. So, Nephilim. Not 100% sure on these guys. So the problem with the Nephilim is the following. We have, at least in design, I will put this up. We have gods and we have religions. We have, at least at the moment, planes. I've done only these planes at the moment because I don't want to have like 20 planes. This setting should be like... Exactly. There's like a bunch of gods that exist. And I actually think about, like, because the Aether is said to be the essence of the gods, that like a bunch of them could run around. The planes at the moment is like the elemental realms, which is like the realm that is the basis of the world of the Ekizo. Then we have the Void. The Void is basically where the Demon Lords and Devil Empire fight each other. I want to unite this. I want to give them... I hate that, like, usually, like, the demons and the devils just like fuck around between the realms, but like some of them are part of the other. I feel like being like a giant empire that fights each other in like hell is kind of cool. Now who will we decide? We define that as exactly the Saint Anatos realm, where like he is and where the humans came from the other world. The realm of the gods, I've not written anything of that. I think there should be like a realm, basically like the Olymp. I like that very much. And then the Transcendence is the realm of the Blessed Dead. So basically where you go when you were good. You don't go to the realm of the gods, you go basically into the like heaven. I think that is like all we need at the moment. We have elements, we have good, we have bad. I don't need too many spaces because I want this to be like, this is like a lot of stuff, but there's like a setting conversion that we're doing that should be like still simple enough that like if you pick it up, if you're I don't know, because I wanna make this like open source, I feel like, or like be able to like make people download this base setting. If you want to pick it up or play with it, right? Yeah, I think so as well. Suli, Nephilim, and Dampier should like represent that quite well. For the time being, again, I'm open for like addendums and stuff like that. But yeah, so we put Nephilim in. And then we have the Suli, we can put them as well in. Ori goes out, Sylph is out, Talos is out, Undyne. Undyne is water, right? Yeah, plane of water. Undyne goes out as well. Beastkin. I think so as well. I think this would be like part of like a I can see Beastkin happen to like partially mutate people, but yeah, Beastkin are I think out. Reflection. What is reflection? Give me that. Characters with a reflection versus may not be a reflection of any known and named NPC in Pathfinder section canon. Bro, imagine this is like the thing. Clones, magical duplicates, etc. Okay. Yeah, why not? Jesus Christ, we weeded out these all, dude. Holy shit. What is Plane of Earth, right? Okay, yeah. Everything's fine. Okay. Now we have everyone, right? Now we know what we have. Now we are doing the following. We are making a page. Unavailable on Azico. And we put everything. Changeling we keep, maybe. This is like the only maybe we have. Right, these are all separate, right? Oh my god, okay. Let's make it like this, where I do can I, if I do this? Yeah, they format. Good. Oh. Beastkin got deleted. Oh no. And if I pick this up, oh my god, it still doesn't work. Okay. If I mark everything. Bro, please. Then I move everything into the unavailable on Azico. Nice. Heritages. Oh, did not work. Heritages. And then we say we say these. Can I pick the entire line, please? Okay. Then we do this, and you are out as well. Goodbye. Then we say Ancestries. No, the android and the beastkins don't belong together. Ancestries. Just doing a little bit of sorting so we get like a better overview. Heritage, we don't need the inn anymore, and we keep the maybe. This list goes away, just deleting some space. Okay. Eliminate for now I keep, Bionicles I keep, and inn I keep, right? Okay. And now we need to we need to think. Where do we start? Now we have like let's see how much we cut down. So heritage of the 50 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 second. Okay. Let's see. How many did we cut out? So these were 12, if I remember correctly, right? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus these 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, one of them will be eliminated, so 6. And then we have like a few maybes, of which like 3 will be eliminated from the water folk. And then we keep like 4 additional ones, maybe. So basically we halved all of them, which will be like a big cut, but we will live, right? Yeah, where do we start? I would do for today, because we're like 2.5 hours in. We're like half an hour left. So who do we start with? Who do you want to start with? Because I'm like open for business. And like heritages, we killed so many, dude. We killed like 80% of them or something like that. We killed so many away. Okay. Both are elf related, okay? The point of catfolk is that they are... I see them basically evolutionary, similar to how I would say humans and what were the name? Because I forgot it again. Vanara are, right? Where you have like a similar thing, but they're evolutionary different. So the elves, at least like what we did with the elves are like that they are distant cousins at the moment, right? Similar to like halflings and the dwarves, which are like somewhat the same species, or like go into the same species, but they are different. Because if they have vampirism, they die. Which was like basically the curse they got, right? Which is why they died 50. They just gain vampirism and die. That's how they die so young. They don't die from old age. They die because they just get vampirism and go rogue. Right? We have it in... Nope. I want to keep this like as a hard thing because so many people, if they play a Dampier, they're also elves, which is like not, which is also what I would do, by the way. But like, once they receive vampirism of any kind, internal or external, the elves will quickly wither away as a punishment. This to ensure elves never become power hungry or dabble in the in forces too big for their own understanding. I think this is like core of the elves. They should be like fucked up for what they did. I think their god is like very in that regard, their god is like very strict. I feel like. So I don't think elven Dampiers should exist in that regard. Which I think that is how they explain stillbirths, at least elves. That they think their kid had vampirism, like they see that as a bad omen or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm not putting a pin in that one. Don't quote me on that. But catfolk, I want them as the distant related cousins. I feel like more animalistic, but less so elven, right? Like less humanoid. I imagine them like being a little bit like, I want to have catfolk being like more like not just kitty cats. I want them to be like or maybe they are kitty cats, right? Because like when I think about the elves, we have like made them very much Thundercat alike, so they are like very like predator, right? So another evolutionary way would be like making them, one should be a small cat, the other should be large cat. So I think elves are large cat, right? Because we gave the male manes and like those like, yeah, and I think that the catfolk should be small cat in that regard. I feel like, I don't know if that's the right choice, because I can also see like the thing with like, okay, we tone down the large cat theme of the elves down, right? Give them like the cat girl aesthetic, and just say, okay, catfolk are basically like tiny tigers, right? Like predators, actually. I can see that. But then we have like 2 times the humanoid species is, well, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I think that is like, one is like definitely like the more cat-like, and the other one is of course like more humanoid. Kitsune are just like the easiest to like actually ride them. I like to ride. Awakened Animal is also very easy to ride. That like Aether Flood happened. Here are Awakened Animals. Konrazu is easy to ride. Aether Flood happened. Kitsune to ride. I mean, yeah, they're like the we just plop them basically onto the globe, right? Where is it? You mean which gods in general, or you mean like because I would say that the good old patron deities covers like basically 90% of the gods if we want to. We could also make like that they're the messengers for the Aether, right? That the Aether talked to them before, and they're the messengers. I think Kitsune you can very easily maneuver around for, except if you go with the messenger route, right? If you go with like anything else, you can do anything. We can make shit up in theory, but no, we're trying to be like a bit serious about this sometimes. But yeah, Just okay. I give you the option. Just pick one, and we're finishing that today, and then we're calling it a day for the time being. The rest I will like start doing side notes for the time being over the week. I think during the weekend we will have a stream where we do another world building thing because it's like just so fun. If we want to do kobolds or whatever, then we can do kobolds. We can. I'm open for everything. I like, by the way, the sunglasses. It's like so helpful with the shitty eye tracking at the moment. That's the only reason I kept them. I think I was for the same vermin niche. You want an for the Isoki. You feel that? We could again. We don't need. Our dwarves are insects. They're termites. We can do with our kobolds whatever we want. We can make them literally, take handle kobolds, which is no. I don't want that. I think so, dude. Let's do this. Come on. Let's make them a page. Page. Kobolds. Let's do this. Nope. So, kobolds. Let's do this. Okay. Kobolds. Let's give them the first things that we define. Are attracted to Aether, right? They like Aether very much. Live in cities. Metropolises. Take living quarters that no one... Is no one one word? Yeah, right, no one. Else wants... resistant to Aether radiation, right? That's like the four things we said, right? They're attracted to it, they're like resistant to it, and they like living quarters in like cities near Aether. Questions. Are they still dragons? Are they somewhat dragon-like? What do they look like? What does a kobold look like? Is it tiny dragon? Because I'm always for tiny dragon kobolds. I like tiny dragon kobolds. You wanna keep the Pathfinder head? But aren't they like going into the shark directions the goblins were going to then? They have like these like shark ass heads, right? I would have gone the opposite route where they're like actually like look more like miniature dragons if we kill the dragon heads, right? where they like actually like look like. But I'm like not 100% sure if we want to go there. So I'm taking this. Yeah, I would think if we kill the dragonettes with the argument we have kobolds, which I agree, then I would say fully dragon heads. Like skinks. What you mean, like the warhammers or these skinks? Oh, I like skink as well. Because that skink looks very much like dragon without horns, right? If you think about it, I know it looks like very much snake-like, but yeah, I dig this. I dig this very much. If you dig it, I dig it, because I know that you're the kobold man. You're the small man in terms of like what you play. Head looks like skinks, right? But the question with the super breeders, right? Super breeders. Are we keeping the super breeder thing still? Exactly. I think so as well. How many children do is the consequence of the Aether that the life cycle slowed down? Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I'm thinking about this like the dragon stuff, and then like the kobold DNA and with like the Aether. They're like maybe like a kobold X takes like very long to hatch, which is why there's like so little children, and which is why they need like the kobold egg guards, right? Which they usually have still. So like you still can use that stat block because like they're like very precious, right? And you have like dragon DNA in them because because of the thing. Yeah, exactly. What do we say? A year to hatch, or what do we do? Or do we take 2 years? We can like take a span you want. Okay. From 2. What is the shortest egg hatching and what was the longest? Is the next question. What were the records there? Yes. Okay. I agree with that. When removed from ether-rich areas and die off within a month. What's the normal lifespan for Cobalt? Around... Do we say, like... They should be older than elves, which is also kind of like a big fuck you from the elven god. Do we say 80? 80 is a good number. Too many eggs. This is like the important thing. Too many eggs in one place. Slow down hatch times. So basically, they need to share the aether in the area around them, right? So they hatch slower. So we don't get into like the situation where like you have like still like these massive like productions of eggs over the years. Because otherwise, like, say an egg takes a year to hatch, and they could like lay an egg every X months, which is like one of the benefits of like being an egg layer. You would need to like hinder that they just have like 3 or 4 eggs going at the same time constantly until they cannot do that anymore. So yeah, I think that is like a nice thing. You cannot. The problem is the population self-regulates in this way. Yeah. Because like that is eggs have to continue to cycle the eggs under the care. Yeah. This is how population self-regulates. Egg guards. Yeah, this is like sensical. Yeah, especially like we could like write that. For that reason, especially like that they cohorts usually live in subcultures instead of like with other humanoids, because or tend to, because they isolate themselves a little bit. I think that is like the logical conclusion here, at least like sociologically, where they're like, oh yeah, we are not chilling with the others anymore because we have this like weird birth cycle, and people do not understand it. Due to their I don't know why I wrote that big. Due to the egg hatching process. Okay. Now we have now jotted down everything. What happened to them? Where do they come from? Where do they go? What do they actually do in the city? Exactly. These are like the questions we have now. Now we have like basically like, oh, they are doing all of this. This is like how their culture looks. By the way, we need to like organize that for everyone else like later on in like big blocks where we say, okay, this is culture. This is what they do right now in like a big city. This is what they tend to do like on a social ladder. And then also like, who did they get along and who did they not get along with? Because like a big city is just like filled with like small subcultures. With like these many people and species living on top of each other, it flows into one another. But like, for example, you have like your small quote unquote Japan town or something like that. That will just happen. Look at like any big city, right? In a metropolis. I think they are definitely they are technicians and groundskeepers, right? And they keep that shit clean. Like they try to like look for like that everything is perfect around the reactors. I think that's what they do, right? Cleanup duty. Look that like everything is all right there. Look that there's like no hobos, no homeless people. Like that the homeless people go somewhere else, right? Like make the culture their job. I think that is like something that happens. Exactly. That's the idea behind this. I think they should like do that. If they mingle upwards, right? Do they do that? Do kobolds tend to take the really bad jobs and survive and thrive somehow? Yeah. Take really... Do kobolds have bad blood with someone? Did someone piss them off? And or like probably the orcs, like everyone else. Everyone does. Everyone hates the orcs. But like, is there someone that pisses them off specifically? Like, for example, with the Strix and the dwarves, where they just hate the dwarves because they like basically use their culture, their holy lands to make like giant floating cities for those filthy ground people. Do they have like a rivalry? Do they just like don't like someone? Is it like a conflict? I like that. I like the idea of that, yeah. You know what? You know what? I have an idea. So, do they have... what are they called? I always forget. Trip key, right? Yeah. Many underground tribes. No, wait. Hate the Isoki threefold. Isoki ate their eat their eggs on the black market. Some Isoki families pay their life savings to gain access to cobalt eggs, right? Then we have like as point 2, the goblins when goblins arrived at Kaiko, they allied with the Isoki because I think they would need to ally because the goblins would come from outside, right? They allied with the Isoki and drove the trip key to extinction by consuming their eggs. So basically, the trip key are the dodos. I'm actually like that came when you said like with the frogs to extinction. The trip keys are the dodos. The goblins are the Dutch, and I don't know what the Isoki are, but the rocks the trip keys ate or something like that. And then the third reason why they hate them, Isoki take the good easy gerbs. They took our gerbs. I think that's also one reason. Just like a little bit of envy as well, that they have like this like these like nice factory jobs where they just assemble things instead of like scrounging around in tunnels and shit and removing waste and homeless people and corpses and stuff like that. I think the average cobalt adventurer would start out as like a groundskeeper or janitor, right? Where they just like run around and just kill whatever remains down the city, right? Exactly. Like I think that's like that's like 3 reasons, right? Like that to like Isoki, cobalt eggs are a delicacy, and like the Tripkey were like hunted to extinction. I should add that like kobolds and Tripkey were allied since both civilizations could remember. Why not? What? Yeah, that is kind of true, yeah. That could also be true, yeah. That I would put into like the Tripkey and Cobalt stuff later on. Not Cobalt, Isoki. When we do like a little bit more on Isoki. I will note that down. That's okay. There, so reasons The trip key are gone, but the culture remains, right? Okay. I think that's like this. We need to go into like past Cobalt law very much. Like, for example, were they allied with someone? What happened during like 2,000 years of like recorded history, basically, right? Not 100% recorded. We have like a big like hole in there, but like what happened during the Orcish dynasties? Did they do something? But I will do that for the next time because it's getting late. We have done over 3 hours of this, and I think we made quite significant progress, especially like this with like where we sorted everything out. Because now this is like, okay, we can work with this, right? I will see which one of them I will sort one of these out. I will sort out the water people, and the rest I will see. But yeah, I will head off now. We will see each other presumably on Wednesday. Could be that I cannot stream on Wednesday, or either if I stream very late, because I need to train for the soccer tournament, which I'm participating in. But yeah, anyways, I need to head off. See you around. Thank you for watching, and see you on Wednesday. Good night. Have a good one, and thank you very, very much for helping again, for riding with me. It's like a godsend, actually. Anyways, see you around, and goodbye.